Namaste everyone and good evening. Welcome at this evening yin yoga class. In this yoga class we'll be focusing on heart openers. So we're gonna get a good stretch in the shoulders. As you might know, we carry a lot of weight on our shoulders, so it's always good to take care of our shoulders properly, which we will be doing with this yoga practice this evening. Just as a quick advice, if you have some shoulder issues, it might not be the best practice for you. I will give some adjustments and other positions if you are not able to go in the asana that I'm telling you to. So you can continue, but if you know that it might be too much for you, you can just watch one of my other videos. So the first yoga pose we're going to start in is not the easy pose or not the cross-legged position. Today we're going to start in hero pose or diamond pose, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to position myself sideways. It might also be nice to have a block or even two, and you can decide whatever position you want to go in. So the first position, you bring your big toes together. Maybe I sit a bit diagonal. So you bring your big toes together, your heels open up a bit, and then your buttocks just fall in between the two of them. If you have like issues with your knees or issues with your ankles or just in general something with your legs, you can take a block or even two. I always have two at hand just in case. You can put it in between. You can sit on the block to make it more comfortable for your knees, calves, thighs, ankles even. And if you're quite tall, you can sit on a second block. So when you're ready, you can close your eyes. And we're going to take a couple of minutes to center ourselves, to focus on our breathing. So when you've closed your eyes, we're going to listen to all the sounds around us. So from outside the space you're at, from inside the space you're at, the own noises your body are making, like cracking of the bones or your respiratory system, everything you can hear, you should hear at this moment. Maybe you hear cars passing by, maybe the neighbors are listening to some music. Just listen to it without judging it, just hear it and let it go again. And then when you feel like you're ready, you can ignore the noises coming from outside your space and now just listen to the sounds that are inside of your space, inside your living room, your bedroom, wherever it is you're doing your yoga practice at this moment. And at the same time, try not to judge, just listen. Don't put any emotion, don't put any thought into the sound, into the noise. And then bring your attention closer to you. So now, don't focus anymore on the noises around you. Focus on the noises inside of yourself. Maybe you can hear your heartbeat. Maybe you can hear your blood flow. Whatever it is, just listen without putting any thought, any judgment onto it, no emotion. At this moment, everything is just fine how it is. And at the same time, try to feel your body as well. You feel if there are any tensions in your body, or is your body very relaxed? Look at it. And you can gently come back into this space. You can gently bring your attention back from inside of yourself to the noises inside this room. And throughout the entire practice, whenever we go into a pose, try to go into in this space where your attention goes inwards. Go into this space where you can only hear your body, the movements in your body, the sounds that your body is making, the tensions maybe even. And when you are ready, you can lower your chin and then gently open your eyes again and get adjusted to the light again. And when you're ready, you can raise your head again. So from here, we're gonna take our block again, if you're using a block. And we're gonna come on hands and knees. And then from here, we're gonna go into puppy pose, or as Indian we'd like to say, melting heart. And it means that we're gonna put our arms front and our chest comes onto the mat together with our chin or your forehead, whatever you like. But before you go into this position, if you have any problems with this position, you can decide to stay right here, so you don't bring your chest all the way to the mat. That's also perfectly fine. And for those who want to go deeper, we can put two blocks a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to lower our elbows on top of them, and then we're going to bring our chest in between, our chin on the mat, and then our hands come together in Anjali Mudra. So we're gonna do this for about 3 minutes. So it's best to take the option, the variation that's suitable for you, that's suitable for your body. So one of these three are perfectly fine. They have the same result for any person as long as you pick the variation that's good for you. I'm gonna put mine away. I'm not so much into props. And I'm gonna slowly get into position. And as I said, you can put your forehead on the mat or your chin on the mat. And I will see you again in 3 minutes. Okay, great job. And then from here, you can actually bring your whole upper body into the mat. You can put your arms aside you. You can level them with your shoulders. And from here, we're going to do a very amazing shoulder stretch. I have to say, like, if you have any shoulder injuries, it's best not to do this exercise or very gently. I will show you now how it's supposed to be done, and then I will give you the option of how you can do it yourself without straining too much of your shoulder. So we're going to do the right side at the moment. So we're going to put our left hand into the mat and we're gently going to come on our side. So you're probably not going to see it very well, but actually my upper body is almost on top of my right shoulder. As I mentioned, people that are having a shoulder issue, maybe this is as far as you can come. Maybe it's good to keep the support to make sure that you're not putting all your weight onto your shoulder. Just see whatever you're able to do. And then for the rest of us, we have a couple options because we can support our body weight a bit with putting our leg in front of us, our foot in front of us, which is a bit more the gentle option. If you want the deeper option, you can bring your feet backwards so that your body twists more to the right side. And then you can just relax your head, and we're gonna be here for 2 minutes before we're gonna go onto our other side. Okay, very good. The 2 minutes are past now, so we're gonna turn ourselves back onto our belly, both arms leveled with the shoulders again. And then from here, we're gonna go on to our other side now. So now you'll be able to see a bit better how it is, how it should look. And I will turn my back towards you guys for just a couple of minutes, but don't worry, I'll be back and I'll be here. So we do it again. We put our weight on our left shoulder now, and we lower our head and we relax here for again 2 minutes. And from here, we're gonna bring our arms into the mat and we're gonna go immediately into Sphinx pose. So arms, forearms onto the mat into a 90-degree angle more or less. If you have issues with your lower back, you can bring the arms a little bit more forward. And from here, we're gonna be about 3 minutes. Alright, very good. And then from here, we're gonna bring our toes a little bit into the mat so it's easier for us to go into child's pose. So we're gonna bring our feet together, big toes together, and the same like when we were in hero pose or diamond pose. We're gonna open up our heels, our hips and our buttocks come into our heels, and we're bringing our forehead onto the mat. And we're just gonna be here for 2 minutes just to reconnect again. If you want, you can do the beginning meditation again yourself very quickly to bring your attention inside again, to get aware of that feeling that you had before. Alright, very good. And we're gonna go hands and knees again, tabletop position, before we go into our next position. And this is actually a position that's more for intermediate and advanced people, but I will show even you beginners, if you're new at yoga, a simple trick you can do to go into this position. It's quite the heart opener. It's a heart opener of all heart openers probably. So advanced people, advanced yogis, you don't need any props, you don't need anything. For beginners, I would suggest you go against the wall. So I'm gonna go towards my nice wall here. And as I said, intermediate, advanced yogis, you can do it as I'm showing you, but then without the wall. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our knees close to the wall, and we're actually gonna press, oh, okay, here, and we're gonna press our hips against the wall. And you want generally that your hips stay in this position. So we're gonna do the camel pose, and it's a very great back bend. So it's also hated by a lot of yogis because it goes very deep, it's very profound. So if you've never experienced it before, don't go too deep, just listen to your body. And there are a couple of options. So the first option you can do is you can put your hands right underneath your kidneys, right above your buttocks, and then you can push your hands into the wall and slightly bend backwards. And you can stay here for 2 minutes if you want. If you are advanced, you can maybe go deeper and even take your heels. And if this feels good for you, you can also bring your neck backwards, but that's only if your neck is fine enough with this option. I'm not going to do it myself, but feel free to do as you like. And we're going to be here for 2 minutes. All right. And then we gently come up again. And if you want, you can go quickly into child's pose again as a counter pose. So we're gonna quickly go into child's pose.
to counter this position that we've just been into, to release our lower back again. Alright, and then from here, we're gonna go into tabletop position again, and we're gonna go into swan pose. So it's very crucial that your position is as ideal as possible, meaning that your wrists are right above your shoulders, underneath your shoulders, sorry, and your knees right underneath your hips. Because from here, we're gonna bring our right knee towards our right wrist, and ideally you want your right foot against your left wrist. If that's a bit too much for you, you can also put your feet a bit backwards towards your hip, but it's all up to you. Then we're gonna bring our left foot backwards, and then we're gonna bring our hands here. So normally you would go into sleeping swan, but for this purpose, as being a shoulder opener, shoulder stretch, we're gonna bring our hands next to our body so we get that opening into the shoulder. And another thing, if you feel that you're gonna fall to one side, probably your right side, you can use a block, lift your hip, put this block underneath, and then you'll see that you'll be leveled. I'm not gonna do it for now, sometimes I do it. And for those who even want to go deeper into this position, you can take your left hand to your left foot to open that left side. But be aware, if you do this, you also have to do the other side. So now you can close your eyes, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. And then on the next exhale, we're going to release our leg again. If you've been in mermaid pose, we can bring our hands a bit forward again. If you want, you can put your feet into the mat, lift your hips up, and put your right foot, leg again together with your left. And then from here, we're going to now do the same thing with our left leg. So our left leg comes towards our wrist, left foot depends, you can go all the way to your right wrist, or you can bring it next to your
hip, whatever you prefer at this moment. And then our hands come next to our body. Right leg goes a bit backwards, so we can ease into this hip opener, which is at the same time also a shoulder opener. And then again, because I did the left side, the left leg, I also have to do it now with the right side. So see you guys in 2 minutes, and I feel that I need to adjust myself a little bit on this side. Alright, I will see you again in 2 minutes. And then on the exhale, you can release your right leg if that was your option. And then you can put gently your left leg with your right leg again. And also now, just go very quickly, just for a couple of seconds, into child's pose. And then on the inhale, just come into hero or diamond pose again, whatever feels best for you. And from here, we're actually gonna bring our feet to the front. And then for the next position we're gonna do, I advise you take or 2 blocks or a couple of pillows, or if you've got a bolster, it might be good to have a bolster with you as well, because we're gonna go into supported fish pose. So what I typically do is put my blocks in one line together, because to be really honest, I don't own a bolster. And then I put the pillows on top. The top pillow goes a bit over the bottom one to give a bit of support. And then I gently lower myself. And you need to be sure that your block is also in one line with your spine. And then from here, you can make sure that you open the shoulders. So what we're gonna do is the back of our hands are gonna be on the mat or on the floor, a little bit away from your body, so you can have that opening in the shoulder. And also, if you want, you can take away the pillow, put the block more against your neck, and then open your throat as well. But it's completely up to you if you want to be completely relaxed and just do a small back bend in this fish pose. It's perfectly fine. Also be aware
That when you're stretching the throat, it can also be not just uncomfortable, but it can bring a lot of emotion up. Most of the time, we have to be quiet. Some childhood memories might come up again where your parents said that you couldn't speak. It's all possible. Just try to relax. And even all these emotions, even the uncomfortability, will just pass. We're also gonna be here for 2 minutes, by the way. Alright, now we're gonna take everything back again. We're gonna first come up a little bit again, just to make sure that we're gonna clear the room. We're gonna go into Shavasana, but before we go into Shavasana, I would actually advise you to put something underneath your knees. This will relax your lower back, so make sure that your knees are a bit bent. They go a bit further than hip width apart. And then we're gonna lie down. If you have a bolster, it's actually even better. But as you know, I don't have a bolster. And this is perfectly fine as well. This way, the lower back can completely relax. And it might be nice because we've used it quite often during this whole practice. And then you can close your eyes. And just like in the beginning of the whole practice, we're going to focus on the outside noises again. We're going to go a bit faster now because normally you already know what to do. So the next step is that you're going to listen to the sounds in your environment, in your next environment. So in this room where you're at now, whether it's your living room, bathroom, maybe even the kitchen or the bedroom. And then for the last step, we're going to bring our attention inwards. We're going to listen to all the noises, all the movements that our body is making. And then we let go of everything and we return to Shavasana, where we don't have to do a single thing, where we just have to watch, observe, and do nothing else. You don't have to breathe because that just goes naturally. Our brain automatically makes the impulse to breathe, so you don't even have to think about that. Just let everything be, even your thoughts. Just as a wave, let them pass. Okay. And then now you can bring your attention back into this room. Listen to the noises. Maybe you can hear a clock. Maybe you can hear something ticking against the window. Maybe you have a pet that's making a little bit of noise, walking over the floor. And when you're ready, you can bring back movements in your fingers and your toes, in your feet and your hands. And then in your arms and your legs. And if you want, you can stretch yourself completely. Do whatever feels good to you. And then you can come onto your right side. Take your time, and when you're ready, you can push yourself up from here. Make sure that you keep your eyes closed. If you want, you can bring your hands together, and then you can lower your head and gently open your eyes again. Adjust for a minute to the light again before you raise your head again. Thank you for being here in this yoga practice. If you experience anything that you want to share,
feel free to leave comments in the section below. And as I said in my previous yoga class, if you want something particular, if you want to work on something, just leave some comments in the section down below. Thank you and namaste. Have a wonderful evening and good night.